believe that it would be a successful attempt anyway, but again, at least we would get on record, just like we got on record the other day, who is for it and who is against it. And see, I understand the political ploy of what this past Wednesday was all about. Democrats are now hoping to get, since this is now public record, they're hoping to use this against Republican candidates in the general election in November. The only problem with this is that polls have shown that this issue is not one of the top issues that people are concerned about. People are more concerned about the economy and inflation than Roe v. Wade. So that'll be interesting. That's an interesting point. Memo to the president. And again, you're listening to the Rightside on No Static Radio. We don't bring the static, but we sure enough bring the noise. Our call-in number is 216-939-5087. 216-939-5087. Memo to President Biden. Mr. President, first of all, I want to commend you for the things that you have done. You were able to get the $1.75 trillion infrastructure package through. You know, infrastructure is something that's been talked about for a long time, but nothing has been done. You were able to get that, and hopefully those monies will go out to repair bridges and roads all across this country. I commend you on selecting Ketanji Brown Jackson as your nominee for the Supreme Court. Commend you on choosing Kamala Harris for your running mate and for also appointing federal judges, black federal judges across the country, and also for promoting the first black press secretary. But there's more that you can do, Mr. President. And you can do it without the help of the Senate, which has proven that they're not going to pass your legislation because of the two Democratic senators, one from West Virginia and one from Arizona, who have been well documented and well chronicled that they're voting against the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and also the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, which never got to the floor of the Senate. But you know what you can do, Mr. President? You know this better than I. You can actually make the John Lewis Voting Rights Act and the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, as well as forgiveness of student loan debt. You can actually make that happen. And you know how you can do it? Well, you know how you can do it. I don't have to tell you. But for those of you that are listening that may be wondering how he can do it without the Senate, without the Congress and the Senate passing it, he can do it simply by executive order.
Yep, like he did everything else.
Now, we talked about executive order on the show before that has strengths and weaknesses. The strength of it is that the president can do it, and it's done. There's really nothing the Senate or the Congress can do about it. That's the strength. The weakness of it is that that executive order only lasts as long as that president is president, and whoever succeeds him can either continue it or they can do away with it. But at least, and especially for this very important election that's coming up, and this inaction really just puzzles me, given what we see going on in the country right now, given especially, Mr. President, where your approval ratings are in the 30s, even lower than what Donald Trump's approval ratings were. It mystifies me as to why you won't do this. This will motivate your base. Now, listen, everybody's not like me, and I'm not putting myself up on a pedestal at all, but everybody's not like me. The people aren't going to vote because they understand the importance of an election. Some people have to be motivated to come out. And if you were to issue an executive order forgiving however amount of money, student loan debt you want to make it for, that's up to you, that's up to your own discretion. If you were to issue an executive order on making the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, if you were to issue an executive order bringing into being the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act, that would go a long way into motivating your base, the people who came out in 2020, that put you into office, that in the state of Georgia, that put Senator Warnock and Senator Ossoff, black man and the Jew, into office in a former state of the Confederacy. Not only would that help you with your approval ratings, but it could also help your party gain control of the Senate. Because if you have a motivated electorate, now, and this is not a presidential election, now they will come out and vote for candidates that will give you the majority that you need in the Senate in order to pass the legislation that you want passed, so that you don't have to any longer have to do an executive order. You can rescind that executive order when the legislation is passed and you just sign it into law. Mr. President, your base is not motivated. Democratic Party, your base is not motivated. Jamie, and I forget Jamie's last name, he's the chairperson of the Democratic National Committee, ran against Lindsey Graham in the Senate election a couple years ago in South Carolina and lost. The base is not motivated. The one thing that I will give to former President Trump is that he does know how to go out and motivate his base. Now, you know, it's through lies and falsehoods and half-truths and misogynistic, xenophobic, not so thinly veiled racist rhetoric. But nonetheless, he does get his base motivated. For too long, the Democratic Party has sat around and been Mr. Nice Guy. Well, we're not going to get into that, and we're just only going to put our programs and our platform out here. And that's how we're going to listen. You have the power. You can get it done. Do we have a call?
We did. I guess they hung up.
Okay, caller, whoever that was that called, especially if that was you, Barbara, please call back because we want to hear.
Here we go. Yeah, I answered it.
Welcome to the Rightside, caller. State your name
I'm
and where
going
you're
to call
calling
her
from.
back.
Are you there? Are you there?
Hold on, let's call them back. Oh, okay.
Caller, are you there?
I was calling her back.
Okay, I believe that we have the guest that I was waiting, that we were going to have in the first hour, and we're trying to get her on because we do want her to tell her story. So while we're waiting on her, so as we were saying, so this will then motivate your base to come out and to vote in this very, very important election this year. So we're just saying, don't turn your back on your base. It is still not too late. You can still do some 11th hour things in order to get the vote out, in order to get your platform and your agenda out and get it into action and to get it done. Do we have it?
Not yet.
Okay. So my answer to that question is, yes, I believe that just based on this action alone, where again, I understand that women make a large base of the Democratic vote, and especially black women. So I understand why Senator Schumer wanted to have a vote in the Senate to codify Roe v. Wade. But what I don't understand and what mystifies me is why there wasn't similar action taken on voting rights, especially voting rights, and then also police reform. Your thoughts. I'd like to hear your thoughts as well at 216-939-5087, 216-939-5087.
I want to call her back.
Okay, we're attempting to get our guest on the line, so if you bear with us just a moment or so, while we're trying to hook that up, let me. Welcome to the right side. Are you there?
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oh, yeah. This is Barbara from Cleveland Heights.
Oh, hi, Barb. How are you?
Not the other Barbara. So if you were you looking for that call?
No, go ahead. What did you want to say?
No, all I wanted to say is that because I've been wondering why Biden hadn't implemented the executive orders as well. So there must be, some reason. Because he can do that, and those things can be implemented, and he's going to need to do that for us to be able to vote.
Exactly. Exactly.
For us to be able to go out and vote, that's going to have to be done. So I'm just wondering, why is he waiting, so long to do that? So I'm thinking he must have a good reason for that.
Well, and Barb, especially given the fact that he campaigned on these issues. He campaigned on forgiving student loan debt. He campaigned on infrastructure. He campaigned on police reform. He campaigned on voting rights. So we got the infrastructure, even though we didn't get everything that we needed with that. And that's, again, because of Manchin, basically. But we did get a $1.75 trillion infrastructure bill passed. But that's it. And, I hear people saying that I'm not going to go out and vote because they don't do what they say they're going to do, which is wrong, because there are some things that, he said and the Democratic Party said that they were going to do that they did do. However, there are things that they haven't done that they still could do. And that, I try to tell people that you don't get everything in one election. That's why you have to continue. But to your point, it mystifies me as well, Barb, especially since you campaigned on these issues. These were part of your platform of your campaign, and yet all you've done basically is given some lip service to it. And I would even venture to say not even enough lip service to it. When I think about the State of the Union address a couple months ago, he mentioned very little about voting rights in that.
You're right.
Very little, if nothing at all, about police reform. One little mention of student loan debt.
Right.
So it just mystifies me.
Yeah, because I'm sure he's not thinking that the Republicans have thought that he, dismissed that. I mean, I know he doesn't think like that. Unless, but now they are doing some things in terms of gerrymandering, and some of the things are going to different courts, different states that's blocking some of the gerrymandering. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for some of that, as much of that to be done. I don't know. But.
And if he's afraid of backlash from whom? Backlash from whom? Because backlash, what, from Republican voters who are not going to vote for him anyway? So what's the fear?
Yeah.
Where's the backlash going to come from? And like you said, to your point about gerrymandering, I'm glad you brought that up, that, it was ruled in Florida as unconstitutional what Governor DeSantis was trying to do there by eliminating black districts there in the state of Florida. And we also already saw what happened in the state of Mississippi, which there again, state of Alabama, I'm sorry, which there again points to the importance of why we need to have this voting rights reform done.
It seems like it would have been better for us overall to have we had it prior to most of the primaries.
Exactly.
Done. Yeah, I don't know. Well, I'm sure you'll share with us once you figure it out or find out what's going on.
Yeah, well, I wish I knew.
It's baffling.
I wish I knew, but thank you for your call, Bob.
Thanks, Jeff. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I really wish I knew, but I don't know, and I really don't know why the president doesn't move on this. But let me move on. The state of Ohio recently passed a law dealing with people driving under the influence that basically says this, that if you are operating a motorized vehicle while you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs, and with the operation of that vehicle, you cause an accident that results in a fatality. And if the victim of that fatality is a parent of a minor child, then you are responsible not only to serve whatever jail time you're going to serve as a result of that action, but you also are responsible to pay child support to that child or children of your victim until that child or children reach the age of 18.
Well,
now, there's controversy behind that, but I'm going to tell you right here and now, I support that.
Me too.
Because, in effect, what you have done is that you have removed from that child's life their primary breadwinner, though the one who supports them, who's able to put a roof over their head, clothes on their back, food on their table, possibly paying for their, putting money aside for their future college education. And so, because you decided that for whatever reason, that you were going to drive either under the influence of alcohol or under the influence of a illegal narcotic, and as a result of that decision that you made, result in the death of their primary caretaker or their parent, then you should have to make restitution. And this is one thing, and this was championed by MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. And it passed with bipartisan support within the Ohio House. Now, there are some who argue against it, who say that you can't hold someone liable or someone responsible. You can't hold them responsible to provide financial support to the child or the children of the victim's family, that this is unconstitutional and that you can't hold them to that. But I say, oh no. Yes, you can. because even though they did not plan and go out purposely planning to take the life of someone in an accident, the fact of the matter is that you willingly got behind the wheel of a vehicle under the influence of drugs or alcohol. Now, I don't know if you thought that, you had it under control and that you could maintain the control of the vehicle, or that, you didn't have that far to go, whatever the reason is. The fact is that because of a decision that you made, now it has cost the life of someone who is innocent, who had nothing to do with that decision, and now you have robbed that child or children of that parent who was help supporting them. So, since your action, for whatever reason that you decided to take this action, has removed from that child's life the supporter, and in some cases may even be the sole supporter, especially if it's in a single parent household. So now you've removed from that child or children's life either their sole supporter or one of their supporters. Then you need to come in and to provide that child support until that child is 18 years old. That is not an infringement upon one's civil rights. That is not an infringement upon one's constitutional rights, as I see it. The infringement was the decision that you made to get behind the wheel of a vehicle while you were impaired. That's the infringement, because you perpetrated the greatest infringement of all, and the fact that by your decision, you have now taken the life of another person who this child or children were dependent upon for their support. So, in this case, I support this legislation. Welcome to the Rightside, caller. State your name and where you're calling from. Caller, are you there? Are you there? Can you hear us? I guess not. Okay, I don't know what's going on with the phones today, but anyway, we're almost to the end of our program anyway. This is usually the time on our show, the segment of our show where I give our hero and our zero of the week. And this week I really don't have a hero or zero of the week per se, but I will say this, that those of you that are working in the field of human trafficking, of trying to rescue people from human trafficking, to rehabilitating people who have been victims of human trafficking, to those of you who are victims, who have been victims of human trafficking, and now you're at a different point in your life now. You are our heroes. I couldn't even imagine what it would be like to go through what you've gone through. I can't imagine what it's like, nor do I want to know what it's like to wake up one morning and find out that my loved one is missing and has just disappeared without a trace, not even knowing what they're going through or what's happening to them. And so, for those of you who work in this field, that counsel people who have been victims of human trafficking, for those of you that were victims of human trafficking and have got away from that life and now have started your new life, and you're reaching out and helping those who were caught up into that same life that you had been in. You, I commend today. You are our heroes, not only of our heroes of the week, but you are heroes of the day, of the month, and the year for what you're doing. And on the flip side, our zeros of the week, our zeros of the month, and our zeros of the year are those individuals who perpetrate these acts. Those individuals who snatch young boys and girls and put them into this type of lifestyle. For those who engage in this activity and this behavior, you are zeros of the week. And I just want to, and if you just happen to be listening right now, I just want to ask you, how would you feel if that was your son or your daughter that was caught up in this type of life, that somebody was doing to them what you're doing to someone's child? Or if it were you, how would you feel? You wouldn't like that, would you? I didn't think so. You've been listening to the Rightside, where we don't bring the, on No Static Radio, we don't bring the static, but we sure enough bring the noise. Once again, we want to thank our guest in the first hour, Cornelius McGrady of the Reynoldsburg, Ohio Youth Human Trafficking Coalition. Hopefully, in a subsequent program, we can get Barbara on where she can call and she can share her experience with our audience. I'm so sorry that we're not able to get her on today. But right now, I see that my time is up. Thank you very much for your time, and until next Saturday at 3 p.m. Shalom.
I guess it would have been better if
What's going on with the phone?
I don't know. I'm gonna restart everything.